From the beautiful city of Los Angeles, California, we bring you the Gimme Three Podcast.
Welcome back, cinephiles, cinema lovers, and movie appreciators to the Gimme Three Podcast, a series for cinephiles. This is the show where we talk about one theme and three films. I'm your co-host, Bella Efstratis, and I'm joined as always by everybody's favorite co-host, Nicholas Ybarra. Nick, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm very excited for this theme today because I'm hoping that I have swayed you on some sports movies here.
Oh yes, you know, I don't know much about baseball, I'll be honest, but I do know about the power of a team. I'm very much a team player, not team leader, never team leader, unless it's maybe like picking the movie for movie night. But other than that, no. But anyways, I appreciate what it means to belong to something bigger than yourself, and the power of passion, the power of having fun. Because if we know one thing, we know that there's absolutely no crying in baseball. Am I right?
That's right.
Now, you, our lovely listeners, might be thinking, okay, baseball themes. So they must be talking about The Sandlot, bench warmers, angels in the outfield, etc. Nope.
Bench warmers? Who the fuck would think we were talking about bench warmers?
My boyfriend. He was really upset when we didn't have that on our list, so he forced me to watch it with him. I watched 4 baseball movies this week, Nicholas.
My lord. Well, sorry about that.
No, it was all fun and games, literally. But yeah, my 2 baseball loving friends were very confused when they tried to guess the lineup, and at least The Sandlot and Angels in the Outfield hadn't made the cut. But you know what? There's like a billion baseball movies out there.
There's a billion baseball movies.
They haven't seen the gold,
They haven't seen the gold.
We've got a nice variety of classics, maybe some underrated or just kind of underappreciated more than the next. And I think these 3 films specifically are kind of less about winning the big game or sticking to like the typical sports movie tropes or status quo. They're more about the impact of the game, whether it's shaping who you grow up with and in turn who you become, shifting the sports landscape and leveling the playing field for women, or reinventing the game entirely. These stories go beyond the diamond. So in this episode, we're looking at what this all-American, passionate, and often poetic game really means to us, to them, to you. Nick, actually, what does baseball mean to you? When I say the word baseball, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
It's funny you ask that because I was thinking about I have a love-hate relationship with baseball.
Oh, really?
I do. I really love the sport. I love going to games. I love, I know it's hard to be patriotic right now, but
yeah.
I do love this country, and there's something just like quintessentially American about baseball that just, kind of like, fills you with pride, and it's so a part of our history as a nation.
Mm-hmm.
However, it is, as we are going to explore in the movies that we've discussed today, there's a lot of ugliness in this sport, and a lot of ugliness that we're not even talking about today, but it is the sport. And I'm not saying other sports don't have like histories with like malfeasance or cheating or whatever, but it is the sport that gets caught the most with bullshit going down. Cheating, open cheating, just things that make you go, oh God. They make it really hard. Major League Baseball sometimes does make it really hard to still love this sport because it is, at times, it feels so crooked. But hey, ain't that America? Right? So that's where I kind of come full circle, and I'd be like, well, this is our sport. This is the sport that we So I have a love-hate relationship with baseball, but and I think the more that we dive into these films today, I think we'll kind of explore the details of that.
Yeah, I love it. Well, without further ado, let's jump into our first film.
Yeah, first film is Bad News Bears, a classic from 1976, directed by Michael Ritchie, starring Walter Matthau, the great Walter Matthau, and Tatum O'Neal, who is already an Academy Award winner at this point in her young career.
Amazing.
Yeah. And the movie follows Morris Buttermaker, who was a former minor league baseball player, way past his heyday now. Now he is a pool cleaner and an alcoholic. And at the start of the film, he's been hired by a lawyer to coach his son's youth baseball team, the Bears. The major hurdle, of course, is that the Bears are comprised of a group of the most unskilled green baseball players you will ever find. They barely know how to play the game. They are rude. They are crude. They really, really suck. And not only that, the league that the Bears are in is like hyper competitive. Money, hours, intensity is poured into the teams and these games. So it's like very, very rigorous, which is, relatable to, I'm sure, a lot of the parents who are listening to this episode right now, because I know a lot of parents who have their kids in little league and, youth baseball and youth soccer and all this kind of stuff. And I hear the stories of what these kids got to go through and mostly what the parents got to go through and the money that is put into these sports. I mean, they got to be traveling to here and there and Tucson. My cousin's going to Tucson, Arizona for a tournament. I'm like, Tucson, Arizona? For God's sakes, that is far. Anyways, this is a tangent. So in the Bears' first game, they are blown out by over 20 runs that were all scored in the first inning. So the team ends up forfeiting the game. Buttermaker is by no means a beacon of a leader. He does impart some bits of wisdom and does a halfway decent job of instilling a pinch of confidence in them after that blowout loss. Their next game, they still get blown out, but at least they finished the game this time, and they celebrate the fact that they hit 17 foul balls. So they connected with the ball 17 times. So hey, that's worth some pizza and Cokes. Again, America. But Buttermaker knows there's only so far that this team can go without some real talent on the team. So he recruits Amanda, the daughter of his ex-girlfriend. And he knows she's got a hell of an arm because he showed her how to throw. He showed her the ropes. So after some convincing and bribing, Amanda agrees to join the team. Together, the two also recruit the local degenerate who's been hanging around the ballpark, causing trouble, or, in my opinion, looking for attention, perhaps, looking to be recruited. Kelly Leak. He's a very skilled baseball player. And with Amanda and Kelly on the team and the incremental rise in skill of the rest of the team, the Bears start winning. And winning changes everything. It changes the dynamics of the team. It changes Buttermaker's approach to coaching. And it all culminates with a powerful Act 3 that delivers a really sharp and memorable tonal shift. It's always crude, profane, and cynical. But Bad News Bears becomes an honest portrayal of competition in American society. Bella, what were your thoughts on Bad News Bears?
Oh, the Bad News Bears has a new fan. This movie is it's so great. I honestly loved it. I never really thought I would say this about a sports movie, but like this is one that immediately after, while I was watching it and after, I was like, this is one I could totally come back to time and time again. Like it just had this immediate, cozy, safe, comfortable feeling to it. Like it was my first time watching it, and it already feels like a comfort film for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think part of it is that this film kind of makes me feel nostalgic for an era that I never knew, except through like old photos or home videos of my parents. And we recently got a bunch of my dad's home videos digitized from the 70s.
Oh, nice.
We have an unbelievable amount of footage of just his baseball and basketball games as a kid. My yaya, his mother, didn't waste a second. She would probably go through a tape or two for one game to make sure she got every single second.
Right.
So we were watching some of them recently, and it was just so funny because watching this made me think of my dad as a kid in the 70s. He looked exactly like the little shits on the Bears. Like he had that bleached, almost white blonde hair. Would have been
Right.
around the same age at this time. Yeah, just not only did these shit talking kids remind me of him and his love for baseball, but his home videos also looked a lot like the visual aesthetic of this film, like that beautiful film grain and like the color palette. I loved the white and yellow uniforms like running across this vibrant green field. It's really a sweet and beautiful film that has a weird kind of like nostalgia to it just immediately.
Yeah, the kids on the team are such genuine, lovable assholes.
Yeah.
The scene where all the teams show up and they're all taking their team pictures, and you're going across all of the different teams and they're all lined up, very militaristic, like they're super clean and super tight and super polished. And then it cuts to the Bad News Bears and they're just they're in disarray. And Buttermaker shows up late and they're like, come on over here. You were to take a picture. We're taking a picture. And they pan across all their faces as they're taking this picture. And you could just tell how locked in these characters were. And whether that's on the page or the filmmakers kind of like leaning into the kids' personalities, there's just life in that shot. And it's just like the suspension of disbelief. You're just like, these are real kids. Like
it feels so real.
It does not feel like performance at all. Throughout the whole movie. And it's not just them. Walter Matthau delivers an amazing performance. Tatum O'Neal and Walter Matthau have outstanding chemistry. Like they have so much great banter that I was like, keep going. Like I could watch these two throw shots at each other for another 5 minutes.
It was a dumb idea anyway. I mean, you wouldn't have helped the team much. I mean, you were great when you were 9, but girls reach their peak athletically about that age. Probably haven't picked up a ball in 2 years anyway. Give my love to your mom. Don't be such a stranger.
Hey, Boilermaker.
Yeah?
Got my curve breaking 2.5 feet.
Oh, yeah? Then you have been practicing, huh? Now, don't give me no baloney about a curve breaking 2.5 feet, though.
For how much?
$10.
Make it 20.
You got a bet.
Yeah. They could have their like own little spin-off and I would watch it. Yeah, it's so you're absolutely right. I couldn't believe because I kept feeling like, wow, these performances. But then at the same time, I was like, this is just real. Like these are the kids of this era. And yeah, their personalities. Little Tanner, that little shit.
Tanner's great.
He's so great. He's absolutely insane. And I love Lupus. He has a little special place in my heart.
Lupus is a sweet character.
So sweet. His little shaggy floppy hair. Oh, so cute.
And then Ahmed, the young black player on the team, who after the first game they get blown out by over 20, and Ahmed plays a terrible game, and so he sheds his uniform and he climbs a tree, and so Buttermaker goes up there and he's like, "Why aren't you wearing your jersey?" He's like, "I don't deserve to wear that baseball uniform." But I don't know what Buttermaker says, something like, "You didn't play that bad," like it's all right.
Yeah.
And Ahmed says, "Don't give me none of your honky bullshit, Buttermaker." Let's not bring race into this, Ahmed. We got enough problems as it is. It's like, dude, so good.
Oh, it's so funny. Oh, that's such a like sweet moment too.
Yeah.
You got Buttermaker, who's just like this cynical old drunk, and now he's climbed this tree to sit with this kid who's clearly like having a mental breakdown.
He's going through
not
it,
wearing
man.
he's in his underwear, like
Right.
but he's not like shocked by it.
Right.
He's not like even judging this kid for a little bit, except for just being like, shake it off, man. Like stop get over it. Move on. We all did. And then that's exactly what the kid needs to hear too. But it's so great. It's so funny, like watching this, because you're like, man, this coach is like kind of abusive. He's getting hammered and spraying beer all over the kids when he's pissed, and like but at the same time you're like, hey, it's the 70s, you know, this is just how it was.
Well, and it all comes around to the ending. I guess this is the time to mention that all of these will be talking spoilers, but the ending of the film, there's a really kind of intense tonal shift. Buttermaker has like fully gone into competition mode, like the rest of the coaches in this league. And he is, straight up abusive, throwing beers, yelling at the kids, has a really intense and emotional scene with Amanda, Tatum O'Neal's character, that just rips your heart out.
How does it feel?
Why do you always change the subject? You're always pulling that
As
number
far
on
as
me.
I'm
Just
concerned,
quit
the
it.
subject is your arm. You're pitching tomorrow.
But what about after tomorrow?
After tomorrow, we do what all ball players do. We shake hands till we see each other next season. Then we go fishing or hunting, make some personal appearances, get to know the wife and kids again.
I don't have a wife and kids.
Neither do I, but I got my pools to clean. You got your maps to sell and your ballet to learn.
I could help you with your pools.
Will you cut it out, Amanda?
No, it wouldn't be like you taking me anywhere. It'd be like work. You could use the help.
No, I couldn't. And besides, you shouldn't be wasting your time cleaning pools. Look, Amanda, you're a terrific kid. You shouldn't be hanging around with me. I mean, I'm an old, broken-down, third-rate ball player. I like to drink too much. I like to smoke my cigars without anybody bothering me, including you. I'm happy that way. I'm a bum.
No, you're not. You taught me how to pitch. You taught me how to...
God damn it! Can't you get it through your thick head that I don't want your company? If I did, I would have looked you up 2 years ago. I wouldn't have waited 2 goddamn years. Did you ever think of that?
Best scene of the movie. But after that, in the final game, in the championship game, he berates one of the players for not getting hit intentionally by the ball and swinging and getting out. And so he rips the team a new asshole, and he's like, don't you want to beat these bastards? And there's a great shot where it's just silent for a while. And Buttermaker's just looking at all the kids, and we like pan across like all their faces, and it's like a juxtaposed of when they're all like kind of happy and full of life taking the picture, and they're just looking at him like, whoa. And we see just like, man, these are just fucking kids, Yeah. And their eyes are like, they're shook. They're like a little scared. They're like in over their heads. And it's like, man, this shit happens. This shit totally happens because we put kids into these like sports machines, from the jump. Like as soon as they're old enough to run, just like get them in fucking sports, which I'm not saying is bad, because I think it's good, because like they need to, you need to learn about teamwork, and you need to learn about discipline and all this kind of stuff. But the competitive nature, right. But the competitive nature of adults inevitably gets in there, infuses itself in, and that's when it gets a little intense. So anyways, it's a really, really powerful moment in the film, and says a lot about just like I said in the intro, the competitive nature of this country.
And like captures an experience that probably a lot of kids who played sports have had in their lives.
100%. 100%.
And it's like, that's something you don't forget. Like, and not to say it's like the most traumatic, it's not like necessarily traumatic, but like it's memorable to see like like an authoritative figure in your life kind of like melt down over something that you knew you originally signed up for as fun. and you're like, wait, what does this all mean right
Mhm.
now?
Mhm.
It's a really interesting moment, but
Yeah, it's a deft film. Like, it's very 70s in that it's like it's a comedy. Like, I mean, there's
Mhm.
there's
yeah, fully.
slapstick scenes where a kid gets hit in the balls with a ball or something.
Yeah.
And they're like, bring the stretcher, bring the stretcher. One of the kids says, a stretcher for his balls? So it's like, it's got like that level of like ridiculous comedy, but it's also got really heartfelt scenes that will like kind of have you on the verge of tears. So
Yeah.
it's just strong work here from Michael Ritchie.
And I really loved the ending, like especially like you were talking about with that really intense scene. The outcome is like a breath of fresh air, like a sigh of
Yeah.
relief. This movie almost kind of like subverts the usual like American dream play to win narrative we see in sports movies, in that like
Yeah.
it really spits in the face of like every film that's forced you to believe the only acceptable outcome is a final glorious win.
Right.
And instead, it really shows that the joy in sports is just the simple fun of it, you know, something that can sometimes really only be understood through the eyes of children, like we were talking about earlier, you know, before things get complicated by like the seriousness of life, by reality, adulthood. You know, sports are at its core, sports are just fun. Baseball is fun. It doesn't matter win or lose as long as you're having fun. And like, yeah, the Bears kind of spit in the face of their enemies, the Yankees. You know, they're like, tell them they're coming for you next, like we're coming for you next year, but that's just on brand. That's an on brand Bears moment, you know.
Right.
And it
right.
ends abruptly with the whole team just pouring beers all over each other's heads, laughing and smiling despite the loss. And it's just such a great home run, if you will.
Yeah.
Winning as a team, losing as a team, no in between.
Absolutely. It's a great movie. Bad News Bears. They made a remake of it, which I haven't seen.
Yeah. Was it Richard Linklater who
I
did
think
it?
Richard Linklater did it. Yeah. Billy
Yeah,
Bob
I
Thornton,
had
who
no
plays
idea.
Walter Matthau's character. But
No way.
yeah. So I'm sure it's at least watchable with
Yeah, I
those
bet
two-
that's pretty good.
with those two at the helm. But
Yeah.
it's hard to top a classic. It's always the question of why remake classics.
Yeah,
Why not remake
indeed.
not classics? Movies that didn't
Yep.
quite work, but were good ideas. I guess money would be the answer to that, but
Right. Yeah, check it out on demand. I'm sure it's at your local video stores. It's a classic. So, yeah, let us know what you guys think of the Bad News Bears.
Quentin Tarantino says this is one of his favorite films of all time. Kevin Smith
really?
said this is one of his favorite films of all time. Philip Seymour Hoffman, who we'll be talking about later, says this is one of his favorite films of all time. So it's
I love it.
It's got good company.
Mm-hmm. Can't go wrong. Alrighty, on to the next.
Mm-hmm.
So last May, we watched Penny Marshall's epic and deeply underrated Riding in Cars with Boys for our Great Mother Characters episode.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Honoring Mother's Day. And now, just under a year later, we're back with another brilliant Penny Marshall joint, her iconic baseball drama comedy period piece, A League of Their Own. Set in 1943, the U.S. is deep in World War II. Most young American men have been shipped off overseas, and back home, the baseball fields are empty, leaving a big, gaping hole in the hearts of sports fans across the country. With the need for, some normalcy, some joy, and with the MLB's survival on the line, Chicago Cubs owner Walter Harvey persuades his fellow team owners to bankroll a professional women's baseball league to play in the men's absence. Penny Marshall was actually inspired by a 1987 TV documentary, also called A League of Their Own, about the real-life AAGPBL, the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League. And she actually even brought on the documentary's creators and screenwriters to kind of help shape this film and continue the legacy, which is really cool. So we've got Gina Davis and Lori Petty as Dottie Hinson and Kit Keller, two fiercely competitive sisters with deep love and talent for baseball. And when a scout spots them playing softball in Oregon, their hometown, Dottie's stardom flashes before his eyes. Unfortunately for him, Dottie is pretty damn content just working on the dairy farm, waiting for her husband Bob to come home from the war. Kit, on the other hand, is absolutely desperate for something more. She's sick of living in her big sister's shadow, and she's ready to kind of make a name for herself. So at first, the scout isn't remotely interested in Kit, but Dottie agrees to try out for the league on the condition that Kit comes too. So the sisters head to Harvey Field in Chicago for tryouts, and with a little bit of luck and a whole lot of talent, Dottie and Kit both make the Rockford Peaches. And here's where we meet the rest of their team. So we've got a great cast in this as well. So we've got second baseman Marla Hooch, played by Megan Kavanaugh. Center fielder All the Way May Mortabito, played by none other than Madonna. Amazing. Her best friend and third baseman Doris Murphy, played by the great Rosie O'Donnell. Love her. We've got Biddy Schramm as right fielder Evelyn Gardner, Ann Cusack as left fielder Shirley Baker, Freddie Simpson as shortstop, and former Miss Georgia Ellen Sue Gottlander. What a name. Tracy Reiner as left fielder Betty Spaghetti Horn, Ann Ramsey as first baseman Helen Haley, and Renee Coleman as left fielder Alice Skeeter Jaspers. So a pretty stacked roster, but that doesn't always guarantee a stellar or even decent manager. Enter Jimmy Dugan. Dugan? Yes. Okay.
Jimmy Dugan.
Jimmy Dugan. Thank you.
Yeah.
A washed-up former Cubs player played by Tom Hanks. His career was cut short by a knee injury, and now he's just fully embraced life as a cynical and belligerent drunk. Day one, Dugan shows up piss drunk, pun intended, if you know, you know, and sleeps through the whole game. Luckily, good old Dottie steps up to manage with her brilliant skills and insight into the game, quickly becoming a team leader both, on and off the field. But as the Peaches start winning games with a flair, their popularity skyrockets. But so does the tension between Dottie and Kit. And as their sibling rivalry kind of boils over, Kit is ultimately traded to the Racine Bells, which of course brings us to the final showdown. The World Series. Dottie's Rockford Peaches versus Kit's Racine Bells. Who's going to win it? It all goes down in a league of their own. Nick, what do you think of this film?
Well, this is not an exaggeration to my top 10 films of all time.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
It is. I have seen this movie maybe more than any other movie. 2 weeks in a row, we're talking about some of my favorites. Last week, we talked about Tombstone. Yeah. Today, we're talking about A League of Their Own. Once again, this VHS tape was worn out. This is also the movie that, like, whenever I'm on a plane, I'm always like, I should watch a new movie, So something I haven't seen before. But 8 times out of 10, if I'm on a plane, I'm just putting on A League of Their Own because I don't know. It's just, and then I'm crying in the opening credits sequence. This is the movie where, at least for me, the more I watch it, the more emotional impact it has on me and the heavier it gets. And like now it gets to the point where the opening moments of the score, just the opening notes of the score, and I'm just like bawling.
Gets ya. Yeah.
I just am a total wreck. So yeah, I like it.
I love that. No, it's so much more emotional and empowering, I guess, is like that's almost like not enough for what I want to say, because it's such an impactful movie. And I didn't really expect that. I kind of thought it was just going to be like a fun and games, which it is as well, but
yeah,
it is so much more than that too. And yeah, I was blown away. I loved this movie. This is another one that I would come back to time and time again for sure. I'm also in love with Gina Davis, so I'll watch anything she does.
Yeah, she's fantastic in this, and Madonna's great. Well, I mean, everybody's great. Everybody just brought the goods in this one.
Mm-hmm. No, totally. And like, At its core, it's just a great baseball movie as well. Like, it ticks all the boxes. I love the way the games and like the action is shot. It's so much fun.
I agree. The way
Right?
that Penny Marshall shoots the baseball sequences, in my opinion, are like some of the most exciting baseball
Yeah.
sequences I've seen in movies. Like, she will
Yes.
put the camera like right at the baseline. She like has a steady cam like following an outfielder as they're like running to go catch a fly ball. Some really creative and
Mhm.
fun and just like, holy shit, that's an amazing shot. Like stuff you don't
Yes.
see in other baseball movies, like the baseball camera work and cinematography, highly underrated in this movie because the movie is such an emotional wallop. People don't talk
Yeah.
about how well it's shot.
Yeah. It was amazing. I loved it. Yeah, and like, kind of like I mentioned in my intro, that it goes deeper than the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it dives deep into the passion and the way that your passions can really shape your identity, transform your life and your future in ways that maybe you never imagined. Your passion, whatever it may be, can be the thing that kind of defines your life. Like, it can be your great love in your life, even if it's just something you did. Like, that's one of the lines that early in the film, Gina Davis's character, we see her as like an older, in her older age. She's like preparing to maybe go to this reunion with the team. And her daughter's like, dude, what are you like? Of course you're going. And she's like, well, it was just something I did. And I love that because in the end, it comes full circle of like, yeah, maybe you were only there for one season, but you were there and you were part of this, and it's part of you now. And it's just,
Part of history. And sometimes we do things and we don't realize the impact that they have on whether or not it's history, but maybe like on somebody else's life.
exactly. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm really jumping to the end here, but the end had me in tears, I'll admit. Like, it was just so good. And seeing Kit walk in and their reunion, and Kit has like this huge family,
Mm-hmm.
and just makes me so emotional. It's so beautiful to see that like culmination at the end of all that we've seen this huge sibling rivalry from
Right.
beginning to end. That's brutal. Like, oh my God. I don't have a sister, but I imagine this is a really, really great depiction of sisterhood and the competitive nature that comes out of it. And yeah, it kind of made me grateful I don't have any sisters, but it's like, shit, I don't want to deal with that. But also it's a beautiful thing, it's like, I'm grateful. I'm like, yeah, maybe don't want to deal with that, but also there's a kinship that is just something I never had that I do envy at times. So it's really, really, really beautiful to see in this film.
There's something else with their sister relationship, Dottie and Kit, that is like they represent kind of like the changing of a guard, a change in, what womanhood is perceived to be at this time. World War II, women plucked from their homes, send them to the factories while the men are out, or in this case, the baseball field.
Right.
And then when the war is over, there's this sense or this an expectation that they're just going to go back. But there's a bunch of women that were like, no,
fuck that. Yeah.
Fuck that. More independent, a little more rough around the edges, all the way May, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the tension between Dottie and Kit is very, it's very big sister, little sister, but you can also look at it through the lens of like an old guard and a new guard.
Yeah, the
Dottie
generational difference.
Yeah. Dottie doesn't want to leave home. Dottie loves her husband, and that's how she wants to spend her life. She wants to spend her life with her husband. And Kit is like so full of energy, and she wants to see the world, and she's ready to explore, and she's very emotional, and like Dottie is like hard, she like does not show emotion really, or at least not publicly, like behind closed doors she does. But so watching the film through that lens is also really interesting of like, yes, they're sisters, And there's that emotional relationship, but there's also like something bigger that I think like Penny Marshall and the writers are trying to say of like, this is a change in like the history of American woman as well.
Yes, totally.
Look, I'm going back to the hotel and then Bob and I are driving back to Oregon. You're welcome to come with us.
No, you two should be alone. I'd just be in the way.
When do you think you'll be coming home?
Well, some of the girls have been talking about staying around here, you know, and getting jobs. I really like it here.
Christmas?
I don't know. But you're coming back next year, right?
No. I want to have kids. We want to have kids.
Dottie, you got plenty of time to have kids. You couldn't give this up. You'd miss this too much.
Miss it? Yeah, I miss putting on all this gear, catching a double header in 100-degree heat, pushing the bus through the mud, getting slammed into every other day by a base runner. Think I'm gonna miss that?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I'll miss.
What?
Well, I miss the girls. I miss you, Kit.
Me?
Yeah, how many sisters do you think I have? I love you, Kit.
And that makes that line, Dottie is about to leave before the World Series. Her husband comes back from World War II and she's like, I got it, you know, like I got what I want in life, so I'm bouncing. And Tom Hanks delivers this great speech where he's like, what are you, chicken shit? You're going to leave like before the World Series. You're going to regret it for the rest of your life. You're not going to see this through. And she says like, it just got too hard. And I think that line is like, yes, it's about baseball, but it's about something more than baseball. It's about like this fight, you know,
being a woman. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when she says that, she says it knowing that that's something he probably won't understand. And it's kind of a moment between like the viewer and her rather than him.
Right.
It's really good. Oh my God. I also cannot express how relieved I was that he didn't end up with any of the people on this team. That would have killed me. I can't do it. Not Tom Hanks. Like, I don't know. I'm so over him. He's great. He's a great actor. But something about him just irks me.
I will not accept Tom Hanks slander. I will just not accept it. What is this?
I used to love Tom Hanks. And then something switched in me when I turned like 2022. I don't know what it was. But I was like, oh, this guy drives me nuts just looking at him. I know. I can't really explain it. But it's not that I think he's a bad actor at all. He's incredible. But I will say I really enjoyed him in this film because he's so easy to kind of hate as his character. And I almost like want to see him in, like, I need to watch more movies of him being kind of like a douchebag because he's really fucking good at it. And I actually really enjoy watching that come out. Knowing that he probably isn't in real life. So
no, he's the nicest guy ever
at all. Yeah, exactly. So I have no reason to have this beef with him. It's a me problem. Sorry, Tom.
Say, Evelyn, can I ask you a question? You got a moment? Which team do you play for?
Well, I'm a peach.
Well, I was just wondering, because I couldn't figure out why you would throw home when we've got a 2-run lead. You let the tying run get on second, and we lost the lead because of you. Now you start using your head. That's that lump that's 3 feet above your ass. Are you crying?
No.
Are you crying? Are you crying? There's no crying. There's no crying in baseball.
Why don't you leave her alone, Jimmy?
Oh, you zip it, Doris. Rogers Hornsby was my manager, and he called me a talking pile of pig shit. And that was when my parents drove all the way down from Michigan to see me play the game. And did I cry? No. And you know why?
No.
Because there's no crying in baseball. There's no crying in baseball. No crying.
What's the matter, Jimmy?
What? She's crying, sir.
I didn't mean to do that.
Perhaps you chastise her too vehemently. Good rule of thumb. Treat each of these girls as you would treat your mother.
Anyone ever tell you look like a penis with a little hat on?
You're out of here!
Oh,
right now, Jimmy, I heard that!
Misunderstood.
You
You misunderstood me!
No, I
You
didn't.
can't throw me out for that!
Seconds,
No,
Jimmy.
you got a strike!
You need to talk to your therapist about this because I'm so shook right now. What?
I know. I don't know what happened. I'll get to the bottom of it. We'll
Where have I
figure it
gone
out.
wrong?
No, but like I just loved that I was really worried they were going to be like, I don't know. I thought maybe for a second they were kind of alluding between like a chemistry of like or like a will they won't they thing with Dottie and Tom Hanks, but
I think there was
I
some
loved that-
version of some early draft of the script where that existed, and thank God they cut
Right?
it out because it's
Thank
just like,
God. Yeah. That would have just diluted it so much.
yeah, it would. It's just it like makes it less. It's like, okay, now this is just a fucking movie, and it's just so
Yep.
formulaic and stuff. But
Yep.
I also like that Dottie's husband like comes and he's like the sweetest guy ever, and he like
great guy.
supports
Yes.
her, and it's like
Yeah.
you could also see a version of this where like he comes back and he's like this overbearing dude, and like,
Yeah.
oh, don't play baseball, you're gonna get back in the kitchen, like that'd be like too easy.
Mhm.
It's better that that it all comes from her, all the choice,
Yeah.
the choice to leave and the choice come back. It's all her choice.
Yes, exactly. Oh, it's so good.
I just want to say that this movie has, in my opinion, the greatest movie montage ever. Bold statement of the day.
Wow. Yeah.
Greatest movie montage ever, which is it's an incredible, fun-filled, like 1940s style, jazzy score by Hans Zimmer over this montage, and then it like transforms into like this uplifting, like, yeah, we love America, type score. But the score starts with like the league in total disarray. Nobody's coming to the games. It's like fucking, It's very dire. And then over the course of this montage, we see, okay, people are starting to come to the game. People are getting into it. We see one of the characters get married.
Yeah.
We see character development happening. We're like teasing the tension between Kit and Dottie. We see Kit getting a little more jealous, and just like one shot here, one shot there, it's all visual storytelling. They tease the ending of the film in this montage with the charge to the plate. Somebody's running home, and they charge at Dottie, and she hangs on to the ball, which comes into play later. All to the great score. And it's just one of the great movie montages ever. The editing kicks ass. The music kicks ass. You're learning something about the characters. You're moving the plot forward. It has everything a movie montage should do and more. Watch the movie montage.
I mean, once you see Hans Zimmer's name on the opening credits, you're about to get something amazing. But his score is just incredible. It's perfect for this movie. Gets you in all the feels, hits the right note, like the tension, and oh god, it's so good. Can't even put it into words.
So that charging at the plate that I mentioned, that's going to bring up my question for you, Bella, because this is the big debate around A League of Their Own. Did Dottie drop the ball on purpose? What's your take? At the end, when her kid sister Kit, at the bottom of the ninth, is rounding third, coming home, charging for the game-winning run, charging at her sister. The ball comes into Dottie's glove. She charges her like we've seen before. Only this time, Dottie does not hang on to the ball. The ball falls out of Dottie's hand. Did Dottie drop the ball on purpose? Your take.
That's hard. I don't know. I feel like I hadn't really thought about that, honestly. I think like my first thought was that Kit hit the hell out of her. Like
Right.
it's a pretty intense collision.
Right.
So I don't know. I think Kit won it fair and square, honestly. Then I think back to like their interaction after the game. And, you know, Dottie's kind of got this look on her face when Kit goes up to her and she's like, "Are you pissed?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm pissed." But she doesn't look that pissed.
Right.
So maybe she did let it go. But but the reason I'm hesitant is like, I feel like that's not really in her nature. Like, I feel like she always was like, if you're going to do this, you're going to do it yourself, Kit. Like, I'm not going to make it easy for you. Yeah, like I got you on the train, like she says, to go to tryouts, but you got yourself on the team. And I'm not going to like make it easy for you to like stay here just because I'm your sister, which I respect. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, my grandma always used to say, that fucking Kit, she really did not like Kit Keller. So she let her have it. She let her have it. It was like a big, you know, it's like if you go online, there's like all these debate. It's like a big thing, you know, about this movie.
Oh,
like,
wow. That's so funny.
What did Dottie do at the end? I think so. There's like both sides of the story. Her hand is hella limp in that close up as the ball falls out of her hand.
Right.
So, you know, that's one thing.
Yeah.
Right before that, though, when Kit goes to the plate, Dottie goes to the pitcher and she tells her, high fastballs. She can't hit him and she can't lay off. So she's not going easy on her.
Sabotage.
She's not trying to give her the easy route. She knows what Kit can't hit. And she tells the pitcher. Here's the screenwriter answer, is that what happens is exactly what needs to happen, because as I was talking about earlier, these two women represent a changing of the guard and of womanhood in America. So from a screenplay perspective, it's just what needed to happen. Like, this is the new guard coming in and replacing the old guard. So that's the less satisfying screenwriter answer. But it's fun to debate in any case.
Yes.
I do got another 3 pieces of trivia here for A League of Their Own. I want to play a game. By the way, this was actually not a part of my piece of trivia, but it could have been. Yeah, most of these players and characters are based off of real people. Jimmy Dugan's kind of based off of 2 actual baseball players, and Dottie Henson is based off of a real player who was actually in the league for like a decade, not just 1 year, and she actually played first base, not catcher. But anyways, that's just some. Most of these characters were based off of real folk. But anyways, back to my trivia. Here we go. During the filming of the World Series games, you know, they had brought in all these extras. You know, the crowd it's packed out there.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of these extras were unpaid, sitting out there in the hot sun. It's like, how are you going to keep these unpaid extras there? Because sometimes you bring in unpaid extras. Unpaid extras don't know how long it takes to make a movie or how long it takes to set up a shot. And there's like, fucking A, I really regret coming here. I'm going to bounce. So in between setups, in between shots, different members of the cast would do different things to keep the fans in their seats, so to speak. So Tom Hanks, your sworn enemy, would do he would do puppet shows over the dugout for the fans.
No.
Rosie O'Donnell did some stand-up comedy, and various actors, members of the cast, would do Madonna covers and sing Madonna songs. Madonna, of course, was like, I am not fucking singing shit. You gonna pay me for that?
Yep. I love it.
So that I thought that was funny.
That's amazing.
Okay, so the infamous peeing scene. Tom Hanks comes in, busts through the door, and takes a really long, a wicked pissa, as they would say in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Hanks himself didn't even know how long that peeing scene was going to be done, how long it'd be going, because Penny Marshall was just in the stall with a hose and a bucket making the noise. And so Tom Hanks was kind of like at the mercy of how long Penny Marshall kept the hose going.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Does a great job. It reminded me a lot of Dennis Quaid's very long pee scene in The Substance.
Well, and then they did it in Austin Powers. Austin Powers, he has like a really long pee scene after he's been frozen for 30 years or 20 years, whatever.
I forgot about that.
But this was the OG peeing scene.
Wow. It's amazing.
Yeah, this is fucking crazy. Okay, so Gina Davis joined the production very late as a late replacement for Deborah Winger. Just a few days before filming was due to start, the cast had been training baseball, getting ready to play baseball for months. They had been doing training. And within a couple short weeks, Gina Davis had mastered the game and totally sold that she was the MVP of the league. But she had missed the months of training that all the rest of the players got.
Damn.
Crazy.
So she's just got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks like a real ball player out there.
She looks like a goddess. She may be a goddess. There's no confirmation that she's not.
That's true. That's very true.
One of my all-time.
I love Rosie O'Donnell in this.
Oh, she's so good.
She's so good. Oh my god. Like actually just amazing. And I love her and Madonna's chemistry as well.
They're like a great Abbott and Costello kind of duo, you know.
Oh, it's amazing.
We're going to take you all to charm and beauty school. For what?
Her delivery is impeccable. I love it. I thought Lori Petty's performance as Kit was incredible.
She's good.
Like
she's really good.
Her pain from living in her sister's shadow it's so visceral. Like it feels so real and just like no mercy whatsoever.
And in the beginning, they were just like her like need to like, I got to get the fuck out of here. Dude.
Yeah.
Like, I can't be milking cows all my life. Like this is not how I want to spend my days.
100%.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
She's great. I look forward to you watching this movie again, Bella, and again and again, and telling me how you feel about it as it evolves through your life. Because I've been watching this movie since I was no joke, probably before my first memory is how long I've been watching this movie.
Oh wow!
And it still just hits me. Hits me in all the feels.
Have you thought about watching the TV show that came out?
I have thought about it. I haven't. And now I'm less inclined to, even because it's like it got canceled. So I'm like, I'm not gonna watch an incomplete thing.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm so pissed that it was canceled. I watched it so I had seen that before this, which is kind of weird. It's very different. Like you can tell it's clearly inspired and based on the energy of this film, but it's like different characters and all that.
Right. It might be it might be more accurate to, the actual league. Maybe it's a little bit more of an accurate, because this is certainly fictionalized.
This is also, yeah. I don't know though, because it's very, I feel like they made it in a way to bring the lesbian subtext straight to the surface. Like it's very much a queer show. Which is why I loved it, and I thought it was a great kind of adaptation of this. But yeah, and I love Abby Jacobson, who co-created it. She's one of my Broad City broads who I adore. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough because it's like it's hard to recommend because yes, it was canceled after one season, but at the same time, like it's got so much good stuff in there that just like the pieces of this that you love. Is in there, but then they twist it in ways that's really fun as well. So great performances as well, but again, very different. If you love this, you might hate that, or vice versa. But would love to hear our listeners' thoughts if they've watched either of these for sure.
Yeah. Let us know what you think of A League of Their Own. On
demand, local video stores for sure, no doubt. Check it out.
Yeah, let us know what you think. And that is going to take us to a break, everybody. During that break, you're going to hear from Gimme Three producer, LADFF director, and my wife, Sonia Maru, for a segment that we call Sonia's Movie Minute. So stick around for that and much more right here on the Gimme Three Podcast.
Hello, I'm Sonia, and this is my Movie Minute. This is the one where I talk a little bit of shit about baseball. Let me start by saying that I love the Los Angeles Dodgers. I love the guys on the team, especially Kike. I love Dave Roberts. I love going to the games. I love watching them on TV. The 2 times they've won the World Series in the last 5 years were some of my most cherished recent memories. But it has become so prohibitively expensive to go to Dodger games or even watch them on TV in Los Angeles that it's a huge bummer. I went to a game the other day, sat literally in the highest section in Dodger Stadium, and the ticket cost $70 for a Monday evening game against the Rockies. I looked over at the family of 4 next to me and clocked the food and drink items that they bought. My estimate was that it cost over $400 for a family of 4 to go see an early season Monday night ball game. That's nuts. Plus, MLB has done everything they can to shorten the games, like adding the pitch clock and putting a runner in scoring position in extra innings. If I'm going to pay $70 to sit in the nosebleeds, I expect a 4-hour game, for Christ's sake. Baseball is supposed to be an inexpensive activity that you can do with the whole family. But in LA, at least, that's just not the case. Our concessions cost 2 or 3 times as much as most other ballparks, even ones in big cities like Chicago. A beer is $20, and then it's another $7 if you want to make it a michelada. And what Dodger fan doesn't want to make it a michelada? A Dodger dog and a Michi are as tied to the LA identity as palm trees and traffic jams. I know, we have the highest paid roster in history, and that's why we're so good, and why it's so fun to be a Dodger fan right now. And as we see in Moneyball and A League of Their Own, baseball has always been a big business about big profits. But come on, it just feels so greedy.
It's the Gimme Three Podcast, everybody. And today we are discussing baseball films. Kind of baseball misfits, if you will. Like all the movies we're discussing are kind of like these teams that are outsiders, underdogs, looked down upon. So interesting.
Totally.
Which is going to conclude with Moneyball, directed by Bennett Miller, written by Steven Zaillian and Aaron Sorkin, starring Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill, and Philip Seymour Hoffman. And the film is about the memorable, historic 2002 season of the Oakland Athletics. In particular, it follows their general manager, Billy Beane, who's played by Brad Pitt. And he's looking for answers. He needs to rebuild his team. After losing in the playoffs the year before, he's also lost 3 of his star players, including the face of the franchise, Jason Giambi. So the team needs to rebuild. But it is very hard for Billy to rebuild when he knows that there is a bigger problem at hand.
Guys are just talking. Talking la 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 like this is business as usual. It's not.
We're trying to solve the problem here, Billy.
Not like this. You're not even looking at the problem.
We're very aware of the problem. I mean...
Okay, good. What's the problem?
Look, Billy, we all understand what the problem is. We have to replace...
Okay, good. What's the problem?
The problem is we have to replace 3 key players in our lineup.
What's the problem?
Same as it's ever been. We've got to replace these guys with what we have existing.
No, what's the problem, Barry?
We need 38 home runs, 120 RBIs, and 47 doubles to replace.
The problem we're trying to solve is that there are rich teams and there are poor teams. Then there's 50 feet of crap. And then there's us. It's an unfair game. And now we've been gutted, like organ donors for the rich. Boston's taking our kidneys, Yankees taking our heart, and you guys are sitting around talking the same old good body nonsense like we're selling jeans, like we're looking for Fabio. We got to think differently. We are the last dog at the bowl. You see what happens to the runt of the litter? He dies.
In Major League Baseball, it is a league with no salary cap, so you need to have money to compete at the highest level for the most part. So looking for new recruits and minor league players, it's fun, it's admirable, it's part of the job, but he knows it ain't going to go anywhere, and it ain't going to get him where he wants to be, which is he wants to change the game. So the Oakland Athletics, they need to think outside of the box. The answer may come in the form of a chubby, nerdy, recent college graduate from Yale, Peter Brand. Peter has a different approach to scouting players. He doesn't really care about their personalities, their fortitude, or even their defensive skills. To him, it is a math equation. How good are these players at getting on base? If you can get on base, you can score runs. And if you score runs, you win games. And you only need a certain number of wins to make the playoffs. And you only need a certain number of runs to average out these wins. So it is a bit of a heartless approach, but Billy is desperate. And he fully commits himself to this new style of scouting players. And he brings in a lot of troublesome players, much to the chagrin of his manager and the rest of the scouts in the clubhouse. So the season starts disastrously as the manager doesn't fully abide by Billy's ideal mathematical lineup. But once he does, things start to turn around, and the Oakland Athletics go on a historic run, smashing records and potentially changing the game forever. Bella, what were your thoughts on Moneyball?
Yeah, so I'd seen this one before.
Mm-hmm.
And I really loved it. I loved it the first time I watched it. It had been a while, though. Like, I didn't really remember anything about it. So I kind of treated this as a first-time watch again. I liked it. I like it a lot. I think this movie is one that maybe requires a little bit more baseball knowledge than the others.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there were some times where I was like, babe, what's going on? To Jonathan.
Right.
So I needed a little explanation here and there, but the feeling is there regardless.
Yeah.
So even when I was lost, I was still, I was still gauging it. I just was being annoying to Jonathan to fully clarify everything that happens. But but yeah, it's great. I mean, I love Jonah Hill. I think he's a national treasure. I think he's deeply underappreciated. And he's fantastic.
Love Jonah Hill, but hates Tom Hanks. We're learning a lot about Bella's taste in actors today.
Oh, Lord, yeah. Do, take that as you will. Yeah, and then, oh my God, I forgot that Philip Seymour Hoffman was in this, and I got emotional. It was like, so nice to see his face, like seeing an old friend after all the movies we did of his this last year. So that was the cherry on top for me. But I think this is a great movie. I think it's a really interesting dissection of baseball, a crazy era for it, I guess. Definitely a good one. Doesn't beat the others for me that we talked about today.
It is hard to follow up Bad News Bears and A League of Their Own.
Yeah.
Those are bona fide classics. But I feel like this one is just so again, this is kind of a bit more of an honest depiction of the ugliness of Major League Baseball. This is also the first movie we're talking about today that is about Major League Baseball. The other two were not about Major League Baseball. So
it's a different beast.
Yeah. And the ugliness of it is clear and present. They don't shy away from it. They also don't shy away from the romance of the sport. Mm-hmm. And a good example of why I have that love-hate relationship with the sport is because you know that speech that Billy gives to his team of scouts in the beginning, talking about how, you know what happens to the runt of the litter? It dies. You know, there are rich teams, there are poor teams. And when he said, when rewatching this, when he said, you know what happens to the runt of the litter? It dies. And I was like, oof, hitting the heart, because guess what? This team is dead right now. The Oakland Athletics are done. They are going to be the Las Vegas Athletics because they didn't want to build a new they did want to build a new stadium in Oakland, but they wanted the taxpayers to pay for it instead of the owners to pay for it. So hence they are packing up and leaving the city that they've called home for, over half a century, and ripping the hearts out of their fans, the city. And it's all about money and it's all about the buck. And if you want to really feel the feels about baseball, you can go on YouTube and watch clips of the final game that was in Oakland and see the fans crying, for their final game. That is the ugliness of baseball that I'm talking about. But you're also privy to the honesty of it, because nothing's more true than that line. You know what happens to the runt of the litter? It dies. Well, this team's dead. Yep. Despite the incredible journey they had in this movie, which is very, very entertaining.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
The scene where Billy goes to have a meeting with the scouts and they run through the new plan and the approach of the team, and he keeps like pointing at Pete every time he wants him to speak.
Billy, we got 38 home runs and 120 RBIs.
Guys, you're still trying to replace Giambi. I told you we can't do it. We can't do it. Now, what we might be able to do is recreate him. Recreate him in the aggregate.
The what?
Giambi's on-base percentage was .477. Damon's on-base, .324. And Almeida's was .291. Add that up and you get...
You want me to speak?
We're not pointing you yet.
1092.
Divided by 3.
364.
That's what we're looking for. Three ball players whose average OBP is
364.
That doesn't look right. Doesn't come out right.
That's right, Artie.
Billy?
You gotta carry the one right here. Billy, that's his down. Yeah.
Who's that?
That's Pete.
Does Pete really need to be here?
Yes, he does. Okay, here's who we want. Number 1, Jason's little brother, Jeremy.
Billy, that's trouble.
Billy, look, if I may, he certainly has had his problems off the field, and we know what he can't do on the field.
He's getting a little thick around the waist,
and his reports about him on the weed and the strip clubs.
Well, his on-base percentage is all we're looking at now. And Jeremy gets on base an awful lot for a guy who only costs $285,000.
Geez, Billy.
Number 2, David Justice.
Oh, no. Not a good idea, Billy.
Old man Justice?
Why is that?
Steinbrenner's so pissed at his decline that he's willing to eat a big chunk of his contract just to get rid of him. Anybody?
Exactly.
10 years ago, David Justice, big name. Been a lot of big games. He's going to really help our season tickets early in the year, but we get in the dog days in July and August. He's lucky if he's going to hit his weight.
Billy, his legs are gone.
Billy.
He's a defensive liability, and I question whether the bat speed's still there.
His legs are gone.
Grady.
We'll be lucky to get 60 games out of him. Why do you like him?
Because he gets on base.
What is this? What are we doing?
Okay, number 3. Scott Hatterberg. Who? Exactly. Sounds like an Oakland A already. Yes, he's had a little problem with his elbow.
Problem. He can't throw. He's a career 260 hitter. The best part of his career is over.
I say it's just getting started.
I know Boston wants to cut him, and no one wants to pick him up.
That's good for us. He's cheap.
Let me get this straight. You're going to get a guy that's been released by half the organizations in professional baseball because he's got non-repairable nerve damage in his elbow, and he can't throw.
He can't throw and he can't field. But what can he do?
Oh, boy.
Guys, check your reports or I'm going to point at Pete.
He gets on base.
He can get on base.
So he walks a lot.
He gets on base a lot. Rocco, do I care if it's a walk or a hit? Pete?
You do not.
I do not.
It's such an Aaron Sorkin written scene, but fucking hell, I love it so much. It's just like, God damn, this writing is so good. And Brad Pitt is so like charismatic. He's just like oozing this charisma, and the way that he like throws the names on the whiteboard behind him and like points to Pete and pulls the marker cap off and spits it out. I'm just like, motherfucker, this guy's a fucking movie star, baby. Love it. I just love it.
I love that. Yeah, he's great in this.
Yeah.
I enjoyed his performance. But I loved Jonah Hill because maybe they have a good balance. Like they kind of they complement each other so well in this in ways that maybe I wouldn't have expected. So it's just it's a joy to watch it.
Yeah, they got good chemistry. It's an odd couple, you know. It's a very odd couple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it works. I did notice something when we were after watching this. I was like, you know what? All the movies that we picked today, at the end of all of them, all the like teams that we are following in these movies, they all lose at the end.
Oh yeah. God, that's so true.
We don't have that big like heroic sports moment. So, you know, that's why I'm kind of like, you know, like Angels in the outfield saying like, yeah, they're good. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say they're not good, but there's just some more layers to the baseball movies that I think we're discussing today. Not saying
I totally agree.
We're going to do some more baseball movies coming up late, whether Bella likes it or not.
Hey, these were great picks because I will say, oh my God, this is gonna get some listeners pissed off, but
I don't think it could go worse than Tom Hanks, bro.
That's so true. What have I done? Well, I'm gonna dig my hole even further. I don't love The Sandlot. I would take the Bad News Bears. I would take the Bad News Bears over The Sandlot any day.
Yeah, I would too.
Is that crazy?
Yeah.
No. It's so good. It's so good. Like The Sandlot's adorable. It's nostalgic. The Bad News Bears was all of that on the first watch. Like I just felt so much more connected to it and the characters. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think The Sandlot's a great family film. You know, it's like a great movie.
Yes,
the kids can enjoy it. The parents can enjoy it. It's like they play it at the ballparks. You can go watch it with the family, and it's like there's nothing like it. It is for what it is. It is a perfect movie. You know, The Sandlot. It's got the laughs. It's got your baseball. It's got James Earl Jones. There's nothing wrong with it.
Forgot about that.
I don't think that's not that hot of a take that the Bad News that you prefer Bad News Bears over Sandlot.
Okay, thank you. I was really worried. I was really scared. But anyways, we're talking about Moneyball. Sorry.
We're talking about Moneyball.
That line, how can you not be romantic about baseball? What is that? I mean, you know, not to be lame, but like I don't know if I fully understand that in the way that his character does or baseball fans do. So maybe you can speak to that more. Not to put you on the spot, Nick, but I guess what does that line mean to you? I'm just curious.
Well, in my opinion, not even talking about the movie here per se, but there are fewer things in this world that are more romantic than sports and sports fandom in particular. Nothing, in my opinion, is more romantic than that, because you are, to be a sports fan and a devout sports fan, it is a commitment. It is a full-bodied, full-hearted, emotionally charged commitment, much like, having a spouse or a domestic partnership is, to dedicate your life to somebody this time. But, I have dedicated my life fully and wholly to my beautiful wife, Sonia Maru.
Mm-hmm.
But Sonia does things for me. She loves me back, like
Right.
we do things for each
There's
other.
the balance.
There is something I get from that is tangible. To love a sports team as deeply as sports fans do, and I'm talking crying when they lose a championship game, or
Right.
like a loss can really ruin your day, or just like a feeling. It's a feeling that gets in the pit of your stomach when you're just like on the edge of your seat and you're just like, oh my God, we're going to lose, or oh my God, we're going to blow this, or oh my God, the nerves, like your heart is pounding. It is a physical and emotional response that is uncontrollable. And to volunteer yourself for that is fucking wacko. But to do so is, nothing could be more romantic, and nothing could be a bigger sign of love than that, because you are loving something that cannot love you back. So that's just that's just my opinion on why sports are romantic in general. In relation to this movie, there's lessons to be learned from sports and from baseball. There's stories in every game and in every at bat. It's stories. That's why I love sports. It's why I love sports movies, is because these are the greatest stories ever told, and they're true. This is human. It's humanity at its best. It's drive. It's like passion. It's all of it. So anyways, the scene at the end where Jonah Hill's character, after the Athletics have lost, they've gone on this historic run and they lost in the playoffs, and Billy Beane is in his feels, and he's depressed, and he got offered this amazing job at the Boston Red Sox to be the highest paid GM ever, and he's not really excited about it.
Yeah.
Jonah Hill
doesn't know how to feel.
Doesn't know how to feel. And Jonah Hill takes him into the film room, and he shows him this clip of a minor league player, and it's like a big boy, like kind of chubby.
Yeah.
And he tells him, okay, so this player here is afraid of rounding first base because, he's big and he doesn't want to eat shit. So he plays the clip, and this player rips a shot, and the big boys are running to first, and he's like rounding second, and boom, he falls. And Jonah Hill's explaining, like, this is like all of this player's worst nightmares come true. He's fallen. Everybody's laughing at him in the stadium. He's crawling back to first to get safe, and everybody's laughing and tapping him on the ass. What he doesn't realize is they're laughing at him because he's actually hit a home run, and he didn't need to like do all this stuff. He'd already hit a home run.
Didn't even notice.
And I think from Jonah Hill's character's perspective and the perspective of the audience, that hitting the home run is like, you've already changed the game, man. Like, people are going to look at the game differently now with this new thing. From my perspective, what I think Billy Beane's interpretation of that scene was, when he says, how could you not be romantic about baseball? He has already hit the home run because he's got a beautiful daughter right there in Oakland. So why the fuck would he need to go to Boston and make a bajillion dollars?
Yep.
How could you not be romantic about baseball?
It's a great line. It'll live on.
It will. See, I mean, and this is the kind of thing where it's like, baseball is the sport that can just like, it could make you, there's been times in my life where I've told Sonia, fuck it. I'm fucking boycotting the MLB. I'm done. I'm done with this fucking bullshit after the 2017 World Series when the Houston Astros got fucking caught cheating. Fucking caught cheating. Red-handed. And what did they do? A fucking slap on the wrist. Nothing. They didn't strip them of their world title. They banned the like people in the clubhouse. You know, all the players got to play. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. That was enough to just make you be like, fuck this sport. You could cheat at the highest level in the World Series and nothing will happen to you. How in the fuck do you expect me to commit myself to this? How do you expect me to fucking pay money for these fucking season tickets and all this kind of shit when you've told me that this does not matter?
Yeah, that's bullshit.
But you know what happened the next year? I was at some fucking games.
How can you not be romantic?
Anyways.
Great.
Any final thoughts on Moneyball? After I blew a casket.
I love it. This is what we did this episode for. Final thoughts. Great movie. Final thought. Great score.
Yeah, the score is cool.
We did it.
Yeah. Score is real cool.
You know me. I'm a movie score girly. I listen to my playlist every day, and it's so funny because I'll just add like random songs that pop up that I'm like, oh, that was really pretty, and sometimes I don't even realize like what they're from. And so I was watching this and I was like, oh wow, this is a song that I literally listen to every single day.
It's like on your score playlist.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like every day at work it pops up, but I need to look up who it is. Oh, it's Michael Dana. Yeah, he's great. Drives the emotion home, and always got to shout out my movie scores.
Yeah. Strong piece of work here by Bennett Miller. This is the second Bennett Miller movie. We talked about Capote, also starring Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh my god! Wow, look at that.
Which, if talking about this makes you want to watch some Philip Seymour Hoffman, we've got 3 Philip Seymour Hoffman episodes for you guys to check out. So, don't miss those. Those are dandy.
Moneyball, check it out. You guys can rent it on demand. Probably find it at your local video stores. Yeah,
it's also streaming on the Peacock.
Oh yes, indeed, and I believe Paramount Plus as well. If you have that one.
Wow. There's no excuses for this.
All the ones I don't have is where it's streaming. Anyways, that's a wrap on our baseball movie lineup. We got The Bad News Bears, the original, A League of Their Own, Moneyball, 3 films that really couldn't be more different in tone and time period or approach, honestly. They're all really different from each other. And yet I feel like they each find their own way to celebrate the heart of the game, if you will. You know, whether you grew up with a glove in hand, spent Saturdays at Little League games, or only really know baseball through the movies, these stories really tap into something bigger than the sport. You know, teamwork, belief, identity, legacy. You guys check these movies out, or if you've already seen them, you know that they'll give you something unexpected to love. And there's always room for more baseball movies in the movie episodes in the future. Sorry. So, you know, Sandlot fans, Angels in the Outfield, don't worry. Your time will come, I'm sure.
Yeah, for in our 4th baseball movie episode, we'll talk about those.
Yeah, Lord knows we won't run out. So, let us know your guys' favorite baseball movies, or tell us, you know, which ones specifically you'd want to hear us talk about on the pod. It's as easy as sending a text. Literally, just scroll down to the episode description and click the send us a text link. Let us know what you think of these 3 movies, the episode, the show. Send us your favorite movies and recommendations. We want to hear from you guys. So you can also follow us on Instagram at Gimme Three Podcast. That's GIMME, spell out 3 podcast. We post some fun edits of all the films featured in our episode each week, or we've got movie stills, some behind the scenes photos, promo photos, movie lists, polls on our stories where you can vote for the next films we watch and discuss, just the same way you guys voted for Moneyball in this episode. And if you're loving Gimme Three and you want even more content, like spoiler-free movie reviews and recommendations straight from our monthly watch list, then you should subscribe to our Patreon. It's just $5 a month. We really appreciate your support, and you'll get access to exclusive content that you really won't want to miss. Like, seriously, those monthly watch list episodes are some of my favorites that we do. So definitely check them out if you're interested. Another small way that you can show some immense support is just setting our show to automatically download our episodes either on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It may seem like a little thing, but it really helps boost the show and helps us reach even more cinephiles like yourselves. So in the meantime, share the episode, share the show. We'll be back next week with even more great films and discussions. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Gimme Three podcast, and we'll see you at the movies.